So I want to open a room on Clubhouse with a number of other people on the panel, and I want there to be a common thread of really people, all the panelists have the capacity to set aside their ego, right? We're trying to get as little clouding of via judgment or negative narrative or unfortunately traumatic experiences, um, and have each of the panelists have a high empathy level, high emotional quotient. Um, they be the capacity to be very immersed in listening and are effective at communicating. And I want to go through and try and systematically solve problems where we can create actionable plans to resolve issues and do it very coherently, right? So I went on the back end there to be an audience that can submit direct messages, and then someone can be going through and trying to look at the questions and decipher whether or not they've been answered or whether they're relevant to the topic, etc. Trying to find, very relevant questions for the topic on hand, and then giving it to the panelists so that we can have a live podcast. Actually, utilize the tool of live podcasting, and after maybe 3 hours or something, we can shut down the room, right? And then with the expressed intention of reconvening the next day and letting everybody in the room or who have tuned into the discussion let the ideas sit and really marinate, right? So that we can come back with a fresh set of ideas and perspectives to get just laser clarity on why we're solving the solution in the way that we are and what the implications are, etc. And once we feel like maybe there won't be 100% clarity, but there'll be, a high level of clarity of like what the implications of the decision and that's being reached and how to achieve it. And once we reach a fairly high level, we can do a call to action, right? So we announce, what we need to do, and then, if we can get everyone on board with like, this is why we're doing it, right? And we can link, I want to record the whole process so that people can tune in to why it is that we're saying what we say, right? If they don't agree, like, here's the series of answers of why we reached this conclusion. And so they can, reference it. And so we try and we then implement the call to action, and then we have a meta analysis of is what we're doing effective, right? And if not, like, what now reconvening of like, what is it that we need to do to further the process, right? What's not working? Why is it not working? And then cultivating a new call to action. And I say systematically, right? We want to get one issue resolved so that we can actually move on to the next issue and get it resolved. Because the world in which we live is just like, there's this myriad of issues, and like everyone is like asking for your attention and your energy and your time, right? And so there's this fragmenting of resources and time and energy that makes the whole process very ineffective. Things don't quite get resolved, and we want to get them done and done and done, like case closed, and we can move on to the next thing. And theoretically, if there's if we have to come back to it, that's fine, right? This is all part of the process of how can we be effective, right? If there's something that needs to be readdressed, we do it, right? And it's this non-commitment to being right. It's this commitment to how can we create things that make it so people can be happy, right? How can we facilitate human well-being? That's the expressed purpose. We have there's not really an opinion of, well, I don't like that methodology or something. It's about, does it work? Is it going to empirically improve the lives of as many people as we can? And I want this whole process to, one, create a decentralized or a direct democracy. Ideally, we would just keep on scaling till it dwarfs our entire political structure as it is right now. And two, I want it to eliminate our media, like the mainstream media eventually, where we can stop talking about what is happening and what's already happened and why it's a problem, etc., and just have the conversation be exclusively, what is it that we want to do next? Okay, let's start focusing on cultivating reality, being the conscious authors of our reality, and then in the political context, I want the live podcasting, the live questions. I want each of us to, as people immerse themselves in like the decision making, listening and like tuning in and submitting questions and being immersed in like the decision making process, the thought process. I want them to then be able to take it to their personalized world where they can actually portray the message to people who aren't immersed in it, and have the tools to accurately convey the sense-making process, and have a database to refer to so that they can outsource the answers if they don't feel like they're an effective communicator, or they don't quite grasp the concept well enough personally to recapitulate it. So yeah, the whole idea is to try and get away from like the incentive structures that are constraining our political system, because like, you have to speak slick and say certain words that, get people to feel a certain way about you, and you need to raise money, and you need to fight for your side and not their side, etc., right? All these just terrible incentive structures, and get to, the people who are actually navigating the conversation. Their only commitment, right? Their only obligation is to have clear thinking, right? The whole goal is to, whatever it is we're talking about, we want to propagate like with the sole purpose of, how do we make as many people's lives better as we can? And yeah, really orienting the discussion right around that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. There's quite a few other things that I think this calls into question, but we'll keep it there.